Live from Lagos, Nigeria, this is News Central. I'm Felicity Ezewike. The top stories tonight. Speculation surround Bayelsa State Deputy Governor's health after he slumped in his office on Thursday afternoon. President Tinubu seeks National Assembly's approval of 2026-2028 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework. Kenyan court suspends implementation of health aid deal signed with U.S. over data privacy concerns.
In business, House of Representatives pushes major reforms to strengthen CBN transparency and oversight.
And in sports, Super Eagles coach Eric Chelle releases his 28-man squad list for the Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco.
Welcome. Tonight begins now. We'll begin tonight on a pensive note in Yenagoa, where speculations are currently surrounding the state of health of the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, whom reports say slumped in his office on Thursday afternoon, while Senator Lawrence Ewhrudjakpo has since been rushed to the Federal Medical Center, FMC Yenagoa, following the incident. There has been no accurate information about his present condition. In a phone conversation with News Central a while ago, the Chief Press Secretary to Bayelsa State, Daniel Alabra, said he had no information to go to press with, but he awaits a formal statement from the governor, who is currently consulting. News Central will bring you update as events unfold. President Bola Tinubu has asked the Senate to approve the 2026-2028 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and Fiscal Strategy paper. Deputy Senate President Barau Jibrin read Tinubu's letter during plenary in the Senate on Thursday. President Tinubu said he transmitted the documents for the kind consideration and approval of the distinguished senators. According to the president, the 2026 budget will be prepared based on the fiscal assumptions and parameters contained in the approved MTEF and FSP.
The 2026 to 2028 MTEF and FSP was approved during the Federal Assembly Council meeting of December 3rd, 2025. As the 2026 budget of the federal government will be prepared based on the parameters and fiscal assumptions of the approved 2026 to 2028 MTEF and FSP, I seek the cooperation of the National Assembly for expeditious legislative action on this submission. Please accept, distinguished Senate President and distinguished senators, the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Federal.
The media aide to the former Labour Minister, Ngige, has cleared the air as regards the whereabouts of Dr. Ngige amid reports of his alleged abduction from his Abuja home. According to him, the former minister is in EFCC custody and not kidnapped. Fred Chukwulobe, Ngige's aide, dismissed the kidnap claims, confirming the former minister is with the EFCC. The agency is yet to comment. About 2 weeks ago, Ngige's convoy was attacked in Anambra, and he has previously faced ICPC questioning over alleged job racketeering and NSITF contract issues. Meanwhile, ex-Attorney General Abubakar Malami SAN is spending a third night in EFCC custody after failing to meet bail terms, including surrendering his passport and producing 2 serving permanent secretaries as sureties. He's being investigated over alleged terrorism financing and 46 bank accounts. Claims his aid calls false and politically driven. Joining me for this conversation are legal practitioners Ngige Ologu and Abdulkareem Musa. Thank you very much for being here with us tonight. To what extent, I'll start with you, Ngige, to what extent do the EFCC's investigation into Malami's handling of $322.5 million Abacha loot recovery allegedly involving duplication, abuse of office, money laundering, and terrorism financing raise questions about the accountability mechanism within Nigeria's Justice Ministry?
Thank you very much. If you look at Section 1 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, it states clearly that the Constitution is the highest law in the land and that it's binding on everyone, including government bodies. And if you look at Section 15 of Section 5 of the same Constitution, it says the state shall abolish corrupt practices and abuse of office. And right now, the former Attorney General of the Federation is being investigated on, allegations that bear on terrorism financing, money laundering, and about 18 different offenses. And of course, the government has the prerogative to investigate him, though by virtue of Section 36 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, he is presumed innocent at this stage until, for example, if he is arraigned in court, prosecuted and convicted for those allegations. And the burden of proof will be on the government, the prosecutor. But by and large, I think the government is waking up now to engaging the need to fight corruption in the country. But at this stage, they are mere allegations. And it's quite embarrassing on the face value of it that what Abacha did to the nation should be nauseating enough. And many have asked in the past, even the monies, part of the money recovered from Abacha loot, what happened to those funds? And if you know where Nigeria is right now, we must rise up to fight corruption. A country where over 130 million citizens out of 200 official million, are within the multifaceted poverty bracket. And we understand also that Dr. Ngige is currently being queried, Stella Odua, and recently the former governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, was also invited for questioning. And I strongly believe that Nigeria needs to recover from the shock of corruption. And above all this, I look forward to a time when we'll be proactive and be capable of preventing corruption against the land. But all this I have expressed subject to the presumption of innocence like we have in our constitution. And we expect that the EFCC and the law enforcement agents will do a thorough job. And we also must be mindful of the fact that America and the whole world, they are beaming their spotlight on Nigeria right now, frowning at the terrorism going on and the hardship in the land. Nigeria as a nation is too blessed to be mentioned on the list of poor countries in the world. So we are monitoring.
We certainly are not poor if you see we certainly are not poor if you see the wealth being flaunted across this country. So, I mean, if you want to look at it from the optics that you see on social media. But that's an aside. Abdulkareem, Ngige mentioned Odua. This is the second time that the EFCC, the federal government, will be prosecuting her. An earlier case by the EFCC was withdrawn. That's what we know. Do you have any confidence that this time the prosecution will be followed to the letter and we will get some sort of, verdict from the court as to her guilt or not?
Well, good evening and thanks for having me. Well, my view is that the EFCC's approach to the investigation and prosecution of these suspects is selective in the sense that it appears that the EFCC is undertaking the mandate of the ruling party. The EFCC's investigation and prosecution of alleged criminals seem to be a negotiation tactics. It seems to be that whenever a political figure is being targeted or desired by the APC, the EFCC becomes a tool in the hands of the APC to either intimidate and oppress that political figure, using that prosecution and investigation of the EFCC as a negotiation tactics. It is like, come to our party and your sins will be forgiven. So what did they discover in the previous charge that made them to withdraw it? What has changed? So my position is that the selective application of investigation and prosecution of alleged criminals undermines the duty, the image, and responsibility of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. So I have no confidence in the EFCC as to the proper prosecution of these alleged criminals. Come to think of it, why is it that the only persons that the EFCC are going after are the people who seem to be opposing the ruling party or the ruling government? So with regards to your questions, I have no confidence that this invitation, this arrest, this purported investigation is tailored towards addressing any alleged crime. Rather, it is tailored towards doing the bidding of the ruling class and the political party in power.
All right. Jide, I'll come back to you and just ask a follow-up from what Abdulkarim is saying. Do you think that these alleged fraud cases is politically motivated, as has been alleged by Malami's aide and others in this matter? While we are on that, staying with Malami, I'm wondering, is it curious to you that based on what we know and the level he was in this country just a couple of years ago, that he was unable to meet his bail condition? Or again, is that a political move? As briefly as you can, please.
Well, my position is that...
Okay, the question is for Jide, sorry. Abdulkarim, the question is for Jide. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Those who hold the view that it is politically motivated, yes, they are correct. And the burden of proving that the government is serious is on the government. We have previous issues like that in the country. And the former governor of Ekiti State even went to submit himself to EFCC. And at the end of the day, he was discharged and acquitted by the courts. You know, after about 6 years of prosecution. We still have the case of Hadi Sirika there. Stella, the case of this lady in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. You know, she was never even prosecuted for any crime. She was merely suspended and removed from office. So we have several cases like that, that if they were to be tried in the UK, for instance, like the case of the Ewhrudjakpo, they would have landed in jail. I mean, the former governor of Delta State, Ibori, was jailed for 13 years in the UK for a specific crime. So I also am worried by our level of seriousness in fighting corruption. So for those who hold that perception, yes, even look at what happened recently. The Nigerian government sent a delegate to the UK seeking for the transfer of Ewhrudjakpo to Nigeria to complete his sentence. And the UK government told Nigeria and the world that Nigeria cannot be trusted to dispense justice. And on that scale, that request was refused. I told you, many others have been invited by EFCC. So what came out of all this? Even when the former governor of Plateau State, Dariye, was convicted and even confirmed by the Supreme Court, he eventually got a state pardon. And that's why I said, that if Nigeria should come out of the quagmire we are right now, we must be serious about fighting corruption. That's why I started from Section 1 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended. Everyone is subject to the...
Jide, I'm sorry, I didn't ask you to be brief. I'm really sorry. The news is always brief, so we don't have that much time. Abdulkarim, I wanted to... a source spoke to the Punch newspaper, and they said it's beyond money laundering accusation against Malami. I think some of them also included abuse of office and terrorism of financing. I want you to speak to that quickly.
Yes, by Section 6 of the EFCC Establishment Act, it is part of the responsibility of the EFCC to identify, to trace, to freeze, to confiscate, and to seize proceeds of funds from terrorists. However, the question remains that what evidence do they have? What information do they have linking the alleged persons to offenses of terrorism? It is not sufficient to allege that a former minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was sponsoring terrorists and arresting and refusing bail, where there are tried laws that bail is a right to anybody that has been arrested. So it is beyond the bogus charges, the bogus allegations. It is about the substance of the allegations, what they have to support the claims or the charges that they have against this person. And I want to say again that this Gestapo style of arresting and detaining people, it reinforces the impression that some of us maintain that this arrest and purported prosecution is just a political vendetta, because if you arrest persons in the caliber of the former Minister of Justice, Malami, persons like the former governor of the state, Ngige, and you deny them bail, people who should ordinarily be granted bail on self-recognizance, it shows that this arrest and prosecution is nothing but a political vendetta and a tactics of silencing opposition. It's like arresting
the decision to not grant bail is that of the court. If they don't meet the conditions that the court has set, would it be fair to allege...
No. This bail we are talking about now, it is not the bail that is granted by the court. This is administrative bail. And the conditions, as stated by several authorities, that the condition for bail must not be stringent. What is the essence of conditions for bail? It is the conditions that are imposed to ensure that whenever you require the presence of this person for continuous investigation, the person will be present.
All right.
The law states that.
I'm sorry. Thank you for that brief clarification. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
God bless.
Coming up, rowdy session at the Senate over screening of ambassadorial nominee Reno Omokri. That story and more when we return.
5 years can vouch for his character. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, I again want to move that these nominees take a bow and go. I so move. If you want, you don't know. It's not seconded. Who was the seconded?
Thank you for staying with us. You're watching tonight on News Central. A reminder of our top stories. Speculation surround Bayelsa State Deputy Governor's health after he slumped in his office on Thursday afternoon. President Tinubu seeks National Assembly's approval of 2026-2028 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework. Kenyan court suspends implementation of health aid deal signed with U.S. over data privacy concerns. So, a mild drama played out at the Senate during the screening of ambassadorial nominee Reno Omokri by the Committee on Foreign Affairs. Committee proceedings took a chaotic turn when lawmaker Ali Ndume moved a motion for nominee Reno Omokri to take a bow and go, citing his status as a former presidential aide. The motion sparked a brief row on the floor as lawmaker Adams Oshomole insisted on speaking before the decision was adopted, leading to a verbal exchange between the ranking senators.
Ndume, are you opposed to Omokri's nomination?
No.
Senator Shomole, are you opposed to the nomination?
I have seconded it over and over 100%.
So you're on the same page?
You're on the same page. I say another to put the question. Put the question.
Discussion colleagues, a motion has been moved and seconded. Those in support say aye. Aye. Those against say nay.
Meanwhile, the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs has screened former ministers Femi Fani-Kayode and Abdurrahman Dambazao alongside other nominees for ambassadorial appointments. Also appearing before the committee were former INEC chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu, Florence Ajimobi, and former presidential aide Reno Omokri.
The last among the nominees, Reno, is somebody that I personally know for the past 25 years, can vouch for his character. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, I again want to move that these nominees take a bow and go. I so move.
I don't know this thing.
If you were, you don't know.
It should be seconded or
you don't know. It's not seconded.
Are you the
Who was the seconder?
I'm the seconder. I'm not called.
Now,
there is a motion on
until you are called, you cannot shut me down.
No, he's not talking to you. He wasn't talking to you.
Let the chairman preside.
He wasn't talking to you. 1 minute.
These are people.
Okay, go ahead.
There's a motion on ground. You can either defeat the motion or let it survive. But
all right, so how come you have other people have spoken?
Senator Adams, he wasn't. Go ahead.
I have the authority of the chairman.
Please go ahead.
Chairman, you cannot exercise power that you don't have.
You don't exercise.
Chairman, I want to thank you, Senate leader, and my colleagues.
This is how you ridicule the Senate.
I cannot be intimidated by people who go here and there.
News Central's National Assembly correspondent Sage Ibrahim was at the closed-door screening. He joins me now for further insight as to what transpired. I mean, I was just chuckling while that video was playing. Talk to us. After that chaotic scene you were able to capture on camera, what happened?
What happened was, in the end, the matter was sorted, and as expected, Reno Omokri took a bow and he left without any questions asked. The role, of course, commenced after Senator Ndume had raised the motion, that he take the bow and go, considering the fact that he is somebody that he personally has known for 25 years. Coupled with that, he was at some point an aide to a president, having served as a special advisor, at some point in that capacity. So based on the tradition of the Senate, he'd be allowed to take a bow and go. But for Senator Adams Shomole, he had some reservations, especially considering the suitability of Reno Omokri, bearing the fact that there had been issues considering, his very, very open statement and comments, about this administration before the administration got into office and even up until this point. And of course, the person being in question being the president of the country. So Senator Adams Shomole really wanted to ask questions, about these issues, but then Ndume also interjected to say a motion has been put. It's only natural that, the normal course of things, which is for someone else to second that motion, be done before any other addition, be put on the matter. But then Adams Shomole insisted that he had to speak because the chairman of the committee had given, him the right to speak at the time. Therefore causing the row as we saw up until the chairman of the committee intervened. And then, of course, the question was put and Reno finally was allowed to take a bow and leave without questions.
What's your assessment of the proceedings so far? Has it been take a bow and go? Has there been any sort of real screening as asking questions?
Yes, for some of these nominees, they were asked questions particularly about what strategies that they have, to put Nigeria on the spotlight and also represent Nigeria. Of course, Nigeria has been in the news for the wrong reasons in the last couple of weeks, considering the fact that the President of the United States and the United States government have labeled Nigeria a country of particular concern. with regards to the insecurity and, of course, allegations of Christian persecution in the nation. So these were questions that were put to some of these nominees, of course, save for those who were former governors who had served in the capacity of minister and other high-ranking positions, who the Senate had created. These are exceptions for, bearing in mind that they had at one point or the other faced a Senate, panel or a Senate committee where they were asked questions about their competence. So for these individuals, they were asked to take a bow, and go. But for others who, who haven't occupied any, maybe, of course, these questions were put and they were given an opportunity to prove what contributions that they will be bringing into the position that they are occupying, should they be given the opportunity to serve.
Sagi, I'm going to put you on the spot a bit and just dig into your experience covering the National Assembly over the years. What sense did you get of the bow and go? Was it more to avoid any form of controversy and accede to the wishes of the president, or it was more a thing of convenience, and as they are saying, these people's pedigree already precedes them?
That's a loaded question. That's a loaded question, Felicity. But what I would say is, I'll tell you what I observed, and what I observed was a lot of thanking the president for the nomination, and of course, a continuous vote of confidence in the ability of the president and in his wisdom, bearing in mind that he sent this list to this National Assembly. Initially it was 3, then another 35 came, and then I think another 34 came afterwards, making the list to be this number that it is. So I would say, to a large extent, I saw the lawmakers say, they appreciate the president, they thank the president, and they believe that the president, is doing the right thing by putting these individuals, because they believe that these, are the right round pegs in round holes, or square pegs in square holes, whatever the analogy is. But then it's left to Nigerians, of course, to form their opinions of what they think about all of these issues, considering the fact that we see situations where, the lawmakers are expected to ask critical questions. And by the way, they had done that initially, because you recall, Felicity, that the retired former Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, at some point also faced this similar incident on the floor of the Committee of the Whole, when he was screened to be confirmed as a Minister of Defense. We saw a situation where a lawmaker also came up to say, we've asked a few questions. We believe because he is a familiar face to us, he'll be given the opportunity to take a bow and leave. And in that situation, we also saw the lawmakers thank the president and also commend him for the nomination. Okay. So for me, I would say that we leave it to Nigerians to, of course, form their opinions and make their decisions about the matter.
Well, we had a lot of thanking of the president, but when you say citizens' question, will it really change anything as it stands? That's a question, a rhetorical one. Thank you very much, Sagi, for speaking with us.
Pleasure.
Tonight returns after this break. Stay with us. Nigeria is making diplomatic efforts to secure the release of a C-130 military aircraft and 11 soldiers detained in Burkina Faso over alleged airspace violations. 3 days after what began as a precautionary landing, the situation has escalated into a tense standoff, raising concerns over regional military cooperation and sovereignty in the Sahel. Military sources confirm the soldiers are still in custody, with the case now handled by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Nigerian embassy in Ouagadougou has opened talks with Burkinabe authorities to secure their release. It's no secret that the state of primary school infrastructure in many parts of northern Nigeria remains a major challenge. However, there is some positive news from Sokoto State as a federal agency has stepped in directly to improve learning conditions for young pupils. The Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board has just completed the renovation and equipping of 2 primary schools in Tambuwal local government area of the state. Our report details how this intervention is giving students a better shot at quality education. Jamil Mabai has more.
A boost for basic education in Sokoto State. The Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board has completed a major infrastructure upgrade of schools in Tambuwal local government area of the state. As part of its corporate social responsibility, the board undertook a holistic renovation of 2 primary schools, aiming to create a healthier and more supportive environment for learning. At JNI Primary School, the project involved a full upgrade of an entire block, which includes 4 classrooms and offices. To promote sustainability and a healthy environment, the board also built a solar-powered borehole to supply clean water while constructing new toilet facilities. The intervention reached a second school, Medium-Term Primary School in Senyina, where a block of 2 classrooms was renovated and fully furnished with new desks and chairs.
Let me use this opportunity to appreciate and express the fullest gratitude to the official of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, that concludes.
But the support goes beyond the buildings. While appreciating that other needs can keep children from school, the board distributed essential items like sanitary pads, school bags, and shoes directly to the pupils.
Daga halin da sun ka iske makarantar mu ciki na wasu abubuwa da na raunata suka to da ci gaba sun ka kawo muna na gyaran makarantar mu muna yi musu godiya da fatan alkhairi.
By improving infrastructure, sanitation, and access to basic supplies, it removes key barriers to education and helps build a stronger foundation for the next generation. In Sokoto for News Central, I am Jamil Mabai.
Nigeria's educational landscape is set for a major shift as the Aliko Dangote Foundation launches a 1 trillion naira national scholarship scheme targeting over 1.3 million beneficiaries across the country. The initiative, described as one of the most significant investments in human capital, places strong emphasis on STEM learning, technical skills, and girl-child education. Placidia Ewhrudjakpo compiled this report.
Where millions of young people struggle to access quality learning, a major step has been taken to expand educational access for young people across the country. The Aliko Dangote Foundation unveiled a 100 billion naira national scholarship scheme.
100 billion naira a year over year for 10 years. 1 trillion naira being invested in pure human capital development.
The program is set to focus on STEAM, technical and vocational training, and girl-child education. Areas stakeholders say are critical to closing learning gaps and preparing young Nigerians for emerging global markets.
This is not investment in human capital infrastructure. Not that the infrastructures do not matter, but this is pure brain development.
With the foundation set to collaborate with WAEC, NECO, NELFUN, JAM, and a few other commissions in achieving a merit-based, fully digital system for selection and disbursement. They say the initiative will strengthen transparency and ensures that opportunities reach communities where they are needed the most.
Each local government will have about the same amount. The only thing is that Lagos and Kano will get a highest allocation.
Speakers at the launch applauded Aliko Dangote's commitment, not just as a business titan, but as a figure whose philanthropy has consistently shaped national progress.
We need you to continue to showcase your prowess, your strength for our country.
Representing the president, Vice President Kashim Shettima described Dangote as a national treasure, noting that his impact extends far beyond boardrooms into lives and futures of millions.
The legacy of Alhaji Aliko Dangote is a reminder that greatness is not measured by wealth. Greatness is measured by the number of lives one leads from the shadows into the light. We must learn from his example. There is no legacy more enduring than giving another human being the chance to learn, to grow, and to live with dignity.
In a country where the potential of young people remains one of its greatest assets, this initiative signals a powerful reminder that beyond the number is a long-term vision to building a generation equipped to innovate, compete, and contribute to Nigeria's development story, as they say that where education is prioritized, everything else becomes possible.
Indeed, everything else becomes possible. Well, away from that, it was a wet start to the day in Lagos on Thursday. A quick burst of rainfall earlier, followed by a lingering drizzle, left many commuters slowing down and adjusting their pace. The early showers serve as a reminder to state authorities to monitor flood-prone areas across the city. Some commuters shared their frustrations with our crew, highlighting the challenges posed by even brief rainfall in Lagos. Victor Mbadike brings us details.
When I wake up in the morning, the first thing that came to my mind is the hold up. I know that I don't enter one chance.
An unusual morning in Lagos with early rains catching many off guard. The downpour has once again left motorists navigating waterlogged roads, a stark reminder of the city's drainage challenges.
The rain beat me black and blue this morning. It was hectic, it was serious. I'm going to the next bus stop so that I can easily get vehicle. There are a lot of commuters at that bus stop. So I'm going to the next bus stop. So if they drop passenger there, I can easily get.
I was supposed to resume work by 7 o'clock, but the rain stopped me. I'll do overtime. What I'll say, all the boss should be patient with their workers.
Ó ṣe ohun tó dáa mọ́, ó ṣe wọn lọ́hùn ni. Ó ṣe ohun tó dáa. Ó dùn náà ló jẹ́ kó dọ̀kùn yẹn mú. Anyway, I know dọ̀kùn yẹn wà torí kò dùn ni mo ti ń bọ̀.
While today's showers may have been brief, their impact was immediate. In a city of over 20 million people, even minor disruptions quickly snowball into major delays.
They need to provide drainage on this road. So if there's an adequate drainage system, we won't have any problem of this flooding. So the flooding is just as a result of lack of drainage, nothing more.
We wait a while, maybe like 2 or 5 hours for the water to move away to the lagoon before you can start our business doing.
It's just my mind now, bro. I don't like you now. Just go better, also do my thing, go out, no time.
Pedestrians and motorists alike continue to navigate flooded streets, reflecting the ongoing challenges Lagos faces with urban drainage during the rainy season. In Lagos for News Central, Victor Mbadike.
The Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has praised Enough is Enough Nigeria for 15 years of sustained civic mobilization. Dr. Okonjo-Iweala was speaking at an event in Lagos where leaders from different sectors gathered to reflect on citizen action and the future of public engagement. News Central's correspondent Israel Eferubo reports.
It was a night of reflection and renewal as Enough is Enough Nigeria marked 15 years of mobilizing citizens and demanding accountability. From business leaders to culture shapers, the room echoed with a common message. Active citizenship remains central to Nigeria's democratic future.
If young people spoke up, the rest of us would have to listen. So I urge the audience not to wait and watch, not to ask for permission, but to get up, organize, and make a difference. The purpose is not for violent actions, but for peaceful agency, and importantly, Enough Enough in Nigeria has been about much more than outrage. It has channeled the energy and urgency of so many young people into action.
The World Trade Organization director, who delivered the keynote address virtually, said she was honored to be part of the milestone, commending EIE's role in strengthening civic participation.
15 years of standing up, showing up, and making your voices heard. I'm humbled to be reminded that I myself had played a small role in catalyzing the emergence of this remarkable movement.
When do we come to the realization that perhaps we have done enough damage to this country? We have done enough damage, and maybe we need to stop. And I think this is the point Omobala is making about missed opportunities. Not just missed opportunities, I think sometimes deliberately missed opportunities.
The people feel that they are helpless, they are powerless, which is not true. With the little organization, this is why we try to organize as concerned professionals in 1993.
The evening also marked a major transition for the organization. After years at the helm, Executive Director Yemi Adamuleku stepped down, handing over leadership to a new Executive Director.
It's important because it reinforces that EIE's work is not only needed, but then it will continue, because there are people and ready hands to do the work.
Office of the Citizen is the highest office in the land. It's higher than the office of a president. It's higher than the office of your lawmaker. Do you want to know why? Because you put them in office.
I'm here to share my voice on behalf of we on the pop culture side, we on the media, the young people side, to just say that organizations like this shouldn't give up. They shouldn't let the fire die down. It's important the work they do because it contributes to making Nigeria a better place.
As Enough is Enough Nigeria closes one chapter and opens another, stakeholders say the organization's mission, empowering citizens to act, is more critical than ever. In Lagos, for News Central, Israel Eferubo.
Outside Nigeria, a Kenyan High Court has temporarily stopped the government from putting into action a $1.6 billion health cooperation agreement signed with the United States. This comes after concerns were raised that the deal could expose sensitive personal and medical data belonging to Kenyans. The case, which was brought by the Consumers Federation of Kenya, argued that the deal signed in Washington, D.C. on December 4th, 2025 may violate Kenya's data protection and health laws and was concluded without proper public consultation. Under the agreement, the U.S. would provide up to about $1.6 billion over several years to support Kenya's health programs, including disease surveillance and treatment. We're on a short break. When we come back, we have business, sports, and entertainment news. Stay with us.
This segment is brought to you by MoneyPoint.
In business, the House of Representatives has advanced a bill seeking sweeping amendments to the Central Bank of Nigeria, that is the CBN Act, to improve transparency, governance and oversight at the Apex Bank, co-sponsored by House Leader Julius Nyombere and Jesse Onokalusi. The bill passed second reading without opposition. The lawmakers saw recent controversies, including FX distortions, poor policy communication, governance lapses, and the 2022 currency redesign, which have exposed weaknesses in the CBN's structure. Away from that, Aliko Dangote has announced an unprecedented dividend model for the $20 billion Dangote refinery ahead of its planned 2026 listing on the Nigerian exchange, allowing investors to buy shares in Naira but receive dividends in US dollars. Speaking in Lagos, Dangote said the plan currently being finalized with NGX and Securities Exchange Commission will help investors hedge against currency volatility. The dollar payouts will be backed by $6.4 billion in expected petrochemical export revenue. We'll bring you stock markets report after this break. In the close of trading today, the all-share index closed at 147,950.59 points, up 0.74%, while market capitalization increased to about 94.32 trillion naira. Now, the market posted a mildly positive session, supported largely by gains in consumer goods and insurance. I'll tell you more about that in the sectoral performance. When we tell you that the banking sector declined by 0.35% as some investors booked profits, we see insurance rise 2.99%, driven by strong demand for counters like Cornerstone Insurance. Oil and gas dipped 0.03%, following slight weakness in Owando. Consumer goods edged up 1.15% with renewed interest in beverage stocks, while industrial goods also marginally 0.01% as major cement players continue to trade stable. That's it on business. I am Lekon Onobanjo.
This segment is brought to you by MoneyPoint.
And in sports, Nigeria head coach Eric Chelle has announced a 28-man squad for the 35th Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco, set to kick off in 10 days. The roster features the usual names like goalkeeper Stanley Wabali, defenders Calvin Bassi, Semi Ajayi, Zaidu Sanusi, and midfield stars Wilfred Ndidi and Frank Onyeka, alongside forwards Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman. But the biggest news is the inclusion of 5 previously uncapped players: Ryan Alebiosu of Blackburn Rovers, Tochukwu Nadi of Belgian club Zout Wariem, and Ebenezer Akinsomiro of Syria side Pisa, Usman Mohammed of Ironi Tiberia in Israel, and Salim Fago Lawal of Croatian side NK Istra made the list, despite having never played for the Super Eagles. Still talking football, Rivers United strengthened their title charge in the Nigeria Premier Football League on Thursday, climbing joint top of the table after a hard-fought 2-1 comeback win over Plateau United in Jos. The pride of Rivers entered the encounter unbeaten in 7 matches, but their run was tested early when Silas Nerot struck in the 20th minute to put Plateau United ahead. Finidi George's men regrouped after half-time and found their breakthrough 7 minutes into the second half, with Boluwaji Sholumade leveling the score. Now, with the match heading towards a stalemate, Rivers United produced a decisive late winner to secure all 3 points, condemning Plateau United to their 10th defeat of the season. Rivers United now sit on 30 points from 15 matches, level with leaders Nasarawa United. Nigeria's Mahadi and Maktil Indoesit will compete at the FIE Junior Epi World Cup in Tashkent after the event moved from Lagos to Uzbekistan. The relocation followed the Nigerian Fencing Federation's decision to focus resources on hosting the 2026 Commonwealth Championships. Now, the brothers return to international action after debuting at the 2025 African Championships. Mahadi is ranked 595 globally, while Mahaktil is 608, and both face tough opposition from Egyptian contenders, including world number 4 Youssef Samai and world number 8 Eslam Osama. Fencers from Azerbaijan, Greece, Hong Kong, Kazakhstan, Mexico, Chinese Taipei, Saudi Arabia, and Uzbekistan will also compete. Their participation supports Nigeria's build-up to the 2026 Commonwealth event. And that wraps it up on Sports Update, and Favor Itua Entertainment is up next with Kate.
Tonight, in the world of entertainment, YouTube has released its official list of Nigeria's most watched music videos of 2025, and leading the pack is a gospel sensation. Gaze Baba, alongside Minister Lawrence Oyo, clinched the #1 position with their powerful collaboration, No Turning Back 2. The video, which blends spiritual revival themes with visually captivating storytelling, struck a chord with millions of Nigerian viewers throughout the year. Its uplifting message helped it outperform several Afrobeat giants, marking a major milestone for gospel music in a space often dominated by mainstream hits. That does it on entertainment news for tonight. My name is Kate Adeogun.
And that's the news tonight. Would love to hear from you. Please share your thoughts using the number on your screen. You can follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Our TV, and on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. Good night.